Brain retraining can sound really complicated, but it's actually fairly simple. It takes time, but the process itself is simple. So right now, what I'm going to share with you is something that you can visualize that will help you to more quickly make those pathways in the brain that help you to eliminate symptoms. Recovery from conditions like ME/CFS can overall just sound really confusing because you hear terms like neuroplasticity-based interventions and modifying maladaptive neural circuits, aiming for adaptive homeostatic states and disrupting maladaptive learned associations. When I first started hearing about brain retraining, I found it really intimidating. I thought it was something that happened in a lab with a bunch of people in white coats and maybe things attached to your head, and there had to be specialists in the room. It was all very mysterious and very intimidating. But you don't need to worry about okay, it's definitely not that. And you don't need to worry about any of these technical terms or be turned off or intimidated or shying away from it because it sounds like it's just something that you're not going to be able to do. It's actually really very simple. It all boils down to the fact that your brain has the ability to change. We call this neuroplasticity, but you don't even need to know that word. Just know that your brain can change. And with these changes that you can help your brain make, your symptoms can go away. With these conditions, it comes down to a few different things, which is why we have to rewire our brain. It could be that your brain is starting to predict danger where there isn't any. We are designed, we evolved to thrive in a world that doesn't look like the one we live in now. So it might be noting things as danger that really actually aren't dangerous. Or there could be miscommunications in the body and our brain thinks that there is a danger, but it's actually read the signals wrong. Or it can be in response to things like our, emotions. This could be past trauma that we haven't dealt with. This could be, really stressful things in our life right now, or strong, scary emotions that we don't think it's safe to feel, like rage and anger and shame and sadness and grief and all of these things. And symptoms are the alarm bells that your brain and nervous system have to communicate that danger to you. So whether the danger is real or imagined, it starts sounding those alarms. And what can happen in conditions like ME/CFS and long COVID is that over time, innocuous things, like not harmful things, are suddenly coded as dangerous. And in time, you are linking virtually everything in life with fear and symptoms until your world is so small that there's virtually nothing safe that's left for you. And brain retraining is the tool that we use to turn this around and turn these symptoms off. And I had a call with an incredible therapist who had been working for years using brain retraining with her clients to help them with issues around food. So she was helping them create new neural pathways in the brain so that they had different automatic behaviors and thoughts and responses around food to help them get over whatever problematic things with food they were currently struggling with. And when we talked about this, and she had this great way of drawing it out, the light bulb started going off, and I thought something very similar with just some small adaptations is what is happening with ME/CFS and long COVID as well. So right now, I'm going to pull out the sketch pad and I'm going to show you this visual, and you can pull this up in your mind going forward to help you just more easily and simplify. Like, what am I trying to do here? What am I trying to do in my brain? What's happening? All right, so let's look at a simple example of this. Let's look at walking. For most people, we have been walking most of our lives. And if that doesn't fit for you, then just think of something else that you've been doing for just about as long as you can remember. But for the sake of this conversation, we'll look at walking. And our brains, walking, have automations. So they have these habits to save energy. It's sort of like, being on autopilot or code in a computer. When X happens, walking, then Y every time. And Y over here is feeling okay. So throughout our life, every time we walk, we're okay. There's no danger there. And over time, this pathway gets more and more ingrained because we've gone down it hundreds, thousands of times. And it's like a super highway that our brain takes every single time we start walking. It goes directly to, I'm going to feel okay. But Now you've got chronic fatigue syndrome or long COVID, and for whatever reason, your nervous system might be highly sensitive. It might be reacting to things. You've got symptoms coming all over. And then one day after walking, you have a crash or a big symptom flare, and your brain might wrongly link walking to danger. So all of a sudden, walking now takes you this new way. So I was walking. So all of a sudden, walking is a dangerous activity. It is making that association really quickly. Danger, danger, danger. And it gives you symptoms because that's what it has to alert you. So now this path is leading this way. And there's something that happens. It's called Hebb's law. So what fires together, wires together. So meaning repeated activation of connected neurons, so walking, danger, strengthens the connections between them. So put simply, these pathways connect and essentially fuse together. So walking danger symptoms becomes one pathway in the brain, even though your body is okay. And understandably, you start to get scared of walking. So every time you get scared of walking, you're further reinforcing this pathway. You've got fear all along. As soon as you start walking, oops, fear. And there's also something that happens with neuroplasticity is that things wire more quickly if it's to protect us. So we're going to have protective pathways in our brain happen lightning fast because staying alive is super important. So is where it might have taken a really long time for this other pathway to really get solidified and become that superhighway. This one, this danger detection became the superhighway in no time. And this other pathway is still here, but it's no longer the default. This is now where walking takes us every time. That's a weird looking arrow, but you hopefully get what I'm doing here. An artist, I am not. And even though this old pathway is here, it starts getting sort of blown over. A picture like when we see in a movie and there's an apocalypse or something happens and the downtown area gets grown over with vines and trees and the animals take over. So we've got, cracks and grass growing in and plants coming up. These are plants, all sorts of things and debris, dust and dirt. Before we know it, this one definitely isn't the superhighway. Our brain is not looking to take that one at all. It is an unused, old, out of service pathway that isn't at all a part of the equation anymore. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get back onto this original path here. We want this to be the dusty, blown over one. And the good news is that you still have this original pathway. This didn't go away. You don't have to create a new one. We just have to teach the brain to start using this one instead of that other one. And although rewiring this way takes longer than rewiring for danger. So whereas you might have made this connection to danger, fear, symptoms really quickly, and you think, well, why can't I rewire it back overnight? That one seemed to happen overnight. This one's going to take a little bit longer, but it can absolutely still be done. And we do this by interrupting it. So this is all happening. This pathway is happening outside of our conscious awareness. We are not making the decision to bring on symptoms. We are not consciously making that danger assessment. So by shining a light on it and interrupting that pattern and bringing it into conscious awareness, and we make a decision and we start walking, and every step of the way, we send ourselves messages of safety. We send ourselves messages of, my body is fine. I can walk. Everything is okay. And every time we walk, we keep reinforcing this. Safety, I'm okay. Safety, I'm okay. And in time, the brain starts to realize, okay, this actually isn't danger. And I don't need to be using this path anymore. And I can go back over to this one. And then this one becomes dusty and blown over and no longer in use. And this becomes our main brain superhighway once again. If brain training is something you'd like to learn more about, you can join my completely free 5-day brain training course. You can find the link to join pinned in a comment under this video, and it is also in this video's description. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the free course.